Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations peoples. Dear ones, welcome. Welcome to our Zoomers. Welcome to the congregation gathered here in the sanctuary. Happy Palm Sunday and a joyous Passover to our Christian and Jewish siblings. Welcome, friends. I want to especially welcome, word has it there's a coming of age group here from Nashua, New Hampshire. Where are you, friends? Welcome. We're so thrilled you're here. Great to see you. And Sunu, are you in the congregation? Oh, let me introduce you to Sunu Chandis. Sunu, just stand for a sec so we can see you. Sunu is the director of the National Women's Law Center, and she has just come out with this beautiful book of poetry, My Dear Comrades. There's nothing like being a lawyer and a poet to fix everything that's wrong with the world. Thank you, my dear. You're so welcome here. Welcome from Washington, D.C. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Beautiful. This is exciting. I want to thank our volunteers who are here in the sanctuary today, our tech team, the Great Doors team, our greeters and ushers, our worship team. Welcome to our musicians, to the Arlington Street Church Choir, and to our director of music, Mark David Buckles. Our executive minister, Reverend Beth Robbins, is in the sanctuary and in the Zoom room. Good morning, Reverend Beth. And welcome home to Sarah and Morgan Cooleybeck, who are here and would love to play with anyone young who gets bored during the sermon or at any moment. Actually, you don't have to be young. If I'm boring you, you should go hang out with them. They're very fun. So they're right over there. They have toys, they have coloring. They're just great to talk to. They have stories. All right, so fun. That's great. Following the guidance of the Boston Public Health Commission, we are continuing to mask and physically distance in the sanctuary. Please keep your mask over your nose and mouth the whole time you're inside to protect our most vulnerable spiritual companions. Thank you, my friends. For those of you who are new to Arlington Street, I want to say a very special welcome to you. If you're here in the sanctuary, there are welcome cards in the pew racks. You can hand yours to an usher or drop it in the basket at the Great Doors as you leave. If you're in the Zoom room, please fill out a connection card. The link is in the chat. It includes the option to request the link to a recording of today's sermon. Since we can't personally greet all of you, Reverend Beth and I would love to follow up with a virtual hello. Friends, whether you have been coming here for years or today is your very first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Rebecca Reed, a member of the worship team. Welcome. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on the homepage at ascboston.org. If you're here in person, there are also printed copies at the Great Doors. Also on the homepage, you'll find a link to Sermon Bingo. Feel free to play along while Reverend Kim preaches. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from today. And now, Keith is going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave and smize at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Our opening hymn is Rising Green, which will be led by Beck. The words can be found in your order of service and in the chat. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, and sing together Rising Green.
My
is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or a sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow in the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of this Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
We have a single mixed candle from Dawn Richter. Today we remember Katie Tyson, a young adult here at Arlington Street, who was very active in organizing our first modern young adult group. Katie died before her dream of becoming a Unitarian Universalist minister was realized. Her partner, Liz Weber, went on to fulfill that dream and is serving our movement beautifully at our congregation in Concord, Massachusetts. Katie Tyson, presente.
Presente. Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A candle of joy from Arlington Street Church community as we celebrate Arab American Heritage Month this April. Some of the most important voices in our country's literature come out of the Majar, a literary movement of poets and writers that came out of Lebanon and Syria to the Americas that began around 1850 and continued into the 20th century. Most were fleeing from political oppression and religious persecution, as a majority of the emigrants identified as Christian. Though Majar writers contributed to every genre of literature, in addition to working as journalists and political activists, their greatest contribution was to poetry. Some of the most prominent poets were Amin Riami, Nasib Arida, and women such as Afifa Karam, Salma Saeed, and Hababa Haddad. Perhaps the best known was Khalil Gibran, whose family emigrated to Boston in 1885. These Arabic Romantic poets were also greatly influenced by contemporary American poets, especially the works of Walt Whitman. With their desire for nonconformity and their emphasis on love and spirituality, they continue to thrill and enlighten us to this day. A final candle of joy as we honor Trans Day of Visibility and celebrate the strength and courage of our trans and non-binary siblings. We see you, we love you, and we vow to protect you and join you in the struggle for your rights and full equality.
Amen. all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Our next hymn is Return Again by Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. It is in your teal hymnal. What number is it? 1011. 1011. I invite us to rise in body, rise in spirit, to sing this together. It has 2 parts, and the parts can be sung at the same time as one another. So we're going to sing that first section a few times. Return again, return to the home of your soul. Then we're going to turn to the second section a few times. Return to who you are, etc. And then we'll do them up here at the same time. I'll sing one part, Hannah will sing the other part. Invite you to sing either part, add a third or fourth harmony part, always welcome. And just sort of invite you into that spirit of finding a place in your heart that you might have strayed thinking, and just come back to yourself a little bit. Here we go. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Either parts. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return return to the home of your soul. Amen.
One morning last week, I was unpacking from a hiking trip, paying a bill, preparing for a house guest, polishing a pair of boots, doing laundry, confirming an appointment, and thinking about a topic for this sermon all at the same time. And at some point, I watched myself starting a task, being reminded of some other task, and wandering from room to room with an Allen wrench in hand, reminding me I was supposed to be fixing the garbage disposal. It seemed a good time to reflect on the perils of distraction and the power of paying attention. At the age of 44, Henry David Thoreau lay dying of tuberculosis. His family friend, the abolitionist warrior Parker Pillsbury, stopped by. Pillsbury's curiosity about the afterlife got the best of him. He writes, "When I entered, Thoreau was looking deathly weak and pale. I said as I took his hand, 'You seem so near the brink of the dark river that I almost wonder how the opposite shore may appear to you.' Thoreau famously replied, 'One world at a time.' Whenever I catch myself driven to distraction, this is the mnemonic that drives me back to attention. One world at a time. Do this, then this, then this. Breathe." Sadia Mascoud wrote a really great piece about distraction that opens with an interesting premise. We're distracted not because of all that noise in the background and foreground of our brains, but because of the surround sound, she says. Actually, it's that our brains love stimulation. The reason it's such an uphill slog to return to center and refocus is all wrapped up in one little thing, one word: dopamine. Oh, dopamine. How we love the buzz of the phone, ding of a text, the little red bell on Facebook, hearts on Instagram, and all our notifications, including "your order is ready." Basically, whatever we associate with pleasure. Every shiny new thing catches our attention and steals it away, hijacking our brains from whatever we were doing a moment ago. This phenomenon even has a name. It's called novelty bias. And it's not just that. Novelty bias would be enough, but in addition to our weakness for shiny and new, we hate to be bored. We have almost no tolerance for boredom. We would do a lot to escape it, which is why the entertainment industry is a multi-million-dollar enterprise. When we're not being entertained, our minds wander. It is their nature to wander. Linda Stone, a famous former Apple and Microsoft consultant, coined the term continuous partial attention. Harriet Griffley, author of The Art of Concentration, writes, "By adopting an always-on, anywhere, anytime, any place behavior, we exist in a constant state of alertness that scans the world but never really gives our full attention to anything or anyone. In the short term, we adapt well to these demands. Adrenaline and cortisol are designed to support us through bursts of intense activity. But in the long term, the stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, knock out the feel-good hormones, serotonin and dopamine, which help us feel calm and happy and create a physiological hyper-alert state that is always scanning for stimuli, provoking a sense of addiction that is temporarily assuaged by checking in. There it is, addiction. Constant interruptions affect our heart rate, make us feel jittery, and have the same effect as losing a night's sleep. The costs also include a 10-point decline in IQ, which is twice the impact of smoking marijuana. Just saying. In an article entitled "Harvard Psychologists Reveal the Real Reason We're All So Distracted," Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert conclude that the real problem isn't our penchant for a stimulating or chaotic environment. They are, we say, wired for a state of continuous distraction. We spend a whopping 47% of every waking hour mind wandering, an experience so ordinary, so natural to us, we don't even notice it. This just feels sad to me. Nearly half of our precious time, we're thinking about the future and relinquishing the gift of the present. In addition, when we lose focus, we're less creative, less productive. We wallow in the sensation of being completely overwhelmed, miss opportunities, and are less happy. Okay, that's all the bad news. We know that attention is among our most precious resources. And thankfully, very thankfully, there's a lot we can do to heal our wayward minds. I want to share some secular hacks and then talk about a way to engage spiritually with the power of attention. I'll begin by inviting us to give ourselves some grace. Forming new habits takes about 3 weeks. So first up, let's talk about our phones. For years, I have preached about the importance of mourning. Some of you can say it with me. When we take care of mourning, morning takes care of the day. When we take care of our mornings, the morning will take care of the day. Right after we awaken, our brains are in the alpha state, that gateway to our subconscious. It turns out that those very first few minutes are really important. They can dictate the rest of our day. If we are checking our email or social or reading the news, we are not reaping the benefits of the richness of that time. Trust me, I know this is not going to be easy, but the evidence is incontrovertible. Do not touch your phone. Use your earliest waking moments to read or write, walk or exercise, eat breakfast, listen to music, or sit in silence. Once your day is underway, one way to really help yourself with minimizing distractions is by turning off your smartphone notifications. You be the judge of whether or not you really need to know ASAP that Apple Arcade is now offering a puzzle that involves embroidery, that Gayle King and Oprah are enjoying their trip to Jordan, or that Utah just broke the state's record for the largest snowpack. Could you read about that later, perhaps, during a designated tech break? Next, consider the 5 more rule, which I personally think is more realistic as a 3 more rule. Here it is. Whenever we feel like quitting, we can do just 3 more. Just 3 more. 3 more minutes, 3 more reps, 3 more pages. This is a form of mind training or spiritual practice We surpass our point of restlessness or boredom, and over time, we find ourselves increasing our tolerance for it. Just 3 more. Some people swear by the Pomodoro technique. This is a famous time management tool employed by productivity enthusiasts. The idea is to break down your attention into 25-minute intervals, followed by 5-minute breaks, or 60-minute intervals followed by 10-minute breaks, whatever works for you. You set a timer to signal a break. Get up, stretch, move to some music you love with the added bonus that the music is timed. When the song is over, time's up, back to work you go, and whatever you're up to. And you know I'm going to tuck meditation into this list. Practicing sitting or walking with focus and attending to our breath quiets our nervous system and restores our equilibrium. Start with 10 minutes of silence, 10 minutes of stillness, and then apply the 3 more rule. If you are stymied by meditation because you're not sure what to do with your busy mind, you can try the 4-7-8 breath. 4-7-8, that's in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. We can try it right now. Ready? So completely exhale through your mouth, make that whoosh, whoosh sound. Close your mouth and quietly inhale through your nose, mental count to 4, hold it to 7, and exhale through your mouth, making the whoosh again for a count of 8. Whoosh. Okay, we can do it again. Ready? In breath, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whoosh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 7, 8, for a total of 4 cycles, completely resets everything. It's science, I don't understand it, but I believe it. 4, 7, 8 can just change your life. So now we're veering into these spiritual solutions, right? Let's really go there. The Thai meditation master Ajahn Chah taught a practice he caught taking the 1 seat. So here are his directions. Just go into the room and put a chair in the center. Take the 1 seat in the center of the room. Open all the doors and windows and see who comes to visit. You will witness all kinds of scenes and actors, all kinds of temptations and stories, everything imaginable. Your only job is to stay in your 1 seat. You will see it all arise and pass. And out of this, he says, wisdom and understanding will come. Ajahn Chah is speaking, of course, both literally and metaphorically. The literal part is that directive to sit through whatever arises, to sit until clarity and understanding are surfaced. Many of us have cobbled together our faith from disparate spiritual traditions. One of the 10,000 things I love about Unitarian Universalism is that none of us has to renounce our former religion or disavow our past. Some do, of course, and others drag the whole mess into the sanctuary and spend years sorting it out. But the point is to cultivate a faith we can believe in, a faith that heals and holds and upholds us. When we join this beloved spiritual community, we commit to doing it here with each other, bearing witness and helping one another. We covenant to build that road together on which we're all waking up to love, service, justice, and peace. Our 1 seat, as Ajahn Chah would say, is here. Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield writes, Many experienced students have come to the retreats I teach without having made a commitment to any practice. They've been initiated by lamas, they've done Sufi dancing, sat a Zen retreat or two, participated in shamanic rituals, and yet they ask, why am I still unhappy? Why am I caught in the same old struggles? And Jack says, I ask them, what is your spiritual practice? They often answer that they haven't chosen yet. Until we choose a discipline and commit to it, how can a deep understanding of ourselves and the world be revealed to us? Awakening, living this sort of undistracted, unchaotic life requires sustained practice and a commitment to look deeply into ourselves and the world around us, to discover what will free us. We must look at ourselves over and over again, he says, in order to learn what it means to allow our hearts to open. Jack tells the heartbreaking story of a man who came on retreat whose only child, a 4-year-old, had died in a car accident just a few months earlier. Added to his grief were some misplaced guilt because he'd been driving and because he had survived. The man had been going from retreat to retreat ever since, just desperate for relief. He had been blessed by a Swami and taken vows with a nun from South India. At Jack's retreat, his meditation cushion looked like a nest, surrounded by crystals, feathers, rosaries, and photos of various great teachers. Every time a meditation session began, he would chant various mantras, recite a string of prayers. All of this, his best effort to heal himself. But Jack intuited that what it was really doing was warding off grief, distracting him from his grief. After a few days, Jack Kornfield asked the man if he would be willing simply to sit without all his sacred object, without his mantras and his prayers. He agreed, and in 5 minutes, he was weeping. Soon he was sobbing and then wailing. He had finally taken that one seat in the heart of his great sorrow. He had finally truly begun to grieve. Jack says we all exercise courage when we take the one seat. Flitting from thing to thing drives us to distraction. Otherwise, it's like digging a lot of shallow wells instead of one deep one. We never find water. After Michelangelo died, someone found a piece of paper in his studio on which he had written a note to his apprentice. In the handwriting of his old age, it said, "Draw, Antonio. Draw, Antonio, draw, and do not waste time." Beloved spiritual companions, may we choose to live one world at a time. That siren song of distraction, novelty bias, continued partial attention, and mind wandering are a threat to our joy. Let's manage our phones rather than letting them manage us. Try the 3 more rule. Pay attention, take a break, meditate. Try 4, 7, 8. In breath, hold, out breath, and take the one seat. In closing, here are the final lines of a poem we love, Mary Oliver's The Summer Day. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention. how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last, and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Amen.
Thank you, choir. Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us, and our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission for love, service, justice, and peace. This month's beneficiaries are the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, an international order of queer clown nuns who pledge to promulgate universal joy and eliminate stigmatic guilt. Their ministry is to serve through education, entertainment, and activism. Thank you for your generosity. I took one of my middle school students to the Love Your Magic conference this past weekend at Northeastern University. Founded in 2017 by a group of Black and Brown women educators here in Boston, my mentor being one of them, Love Your Magic began as a conference designed to respond to and disrupt the disproportionate amount of Black and Brown girls and gender-expansive youth that were being pushed out of schools. It provides a safe space for girls to tell their stories, develop their self-esteem, and celebrate each other. It equips the girls with the tools to advocate for themselves and their communities. I care so much about women's empowerment, being able to provide her with access to building sisterhood, and skills in self-love and self-advocacy was a perfect match for living our Unitarian Universalist values. My students' little squeals of excitement before we even entered the building was joy in its purest form. March is a marathon month of teaching in Boston Public Schools, and I'm so grateful for this time that we can be together each week. I find it so restorative. Thank you. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can give online by scanning the QR code in the order of service, go to ascboston.org, text your gift, or Venmo at Arlington Street. You can mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to Reverend Kim, to me, or to any of the ushers after the service. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you, Rebecca. So I love this Jason Mraz song we're going to sing here, and I never thought about it like this until I was planning the service, but it's kind of like a list of antidotes to distraction, a bunch of things that matter, including music and the refrain, everything is sound, this sort of like list of all these sort of real ways into our hearts. And it is, this chorus just starts with this refrain of la la la's, as simple as it's nothing more than that. And then at the end, I love that the la la la's transition into the word hallelujah and transitions into this celebration as we go. The chorus is very sing-alongable, happens a few times, so if you catch it as we go on, feel free to sing along with me. It goes like this. When there is love, I can't wait to talk about it when things get rough. I like to walk with you when it's night. I like to be the light that's missing and remind you every minute of the future isn't written, not yet. When there is love, or when the heart feels heavy, we can lighten it up. If you've had enough, well, you can empty your glass and we can fill it back up. You know it's up to us to make it all up. So what you making up, I can make it up back. You could be loved no matter what. You know the only time is right now. It's right where you are. You don't need a vacation when there's nothing to escape from. Singing ha la 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 la, ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la, laying it down. Everything is sound. Ha la 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 la, ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la, hallelujah. We're connected now. Let's sing to be happy, to feel things, to communicate and be heard, or sing out to protest and to project and to harmonize with birds. Whether it's your birthday or your dying day, it's a celebration to rejoice, to use your voice and give wings to any old choice. Whenever you're choosing right now, it's right where you are. You don't need a vacation when there's nothing to escape from. Set your vibration and undulation to the highest it can go. And trust me, hear me, if it makes you wanna sing, just sing it. Ha la 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 la, ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la, laying it down. Everything is sound. Ha la 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 la, ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la, hallelujah. We're connected now. It's a song that I've forgotten often. 'cause we all need the darkness to see the light in our own eyes. Come on and sing it. Ha la 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 la. Ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la. Laying it down. Everything is sound. Ha la 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 la. Ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la. Hallelujah. We're connected now. Ha la 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 la. Ha la 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 la. Let's all sing la 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 la. Laying it down. Everything is sound. Ha la 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 la. Ha la 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 la. Let's all sing ha la 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 la. Hallelujah. We're connected now. Thanks, y'all. I could hear you singing too. It sounded good.
Thank you, Mark David, Hyung-ju, and Sam. Next Sunday morning, we'll celebrate Easter. At the close of the service today, if we could please remove the hymnals from the pews in preparation for Easter Sunday, that would be fabulous. The ushers will have library carts at the great doors, which we can shelve them. Thank you, everyone. And then for those of you in Boston today, Gaby and George Whitehouse invite you to join them for brunch, BYO Wallet. Following the service, please meet them on the front steps for a short walk to Precinct Kitchen. There are weekly gatherings on Zoom for loving kindness meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. In addition, every Wednesday at 4, Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth host a tea party with a conversation prompt. This week's prompt is, tell us about a big risk you've taken. On Thursday evening, Gay Men's Coffee Connections will be hosted by Anthony, Daryl, and Philip. Their conversation prompt is, was there a person or persons whom were supportive of you when coming out? For those of you in the Boston area who love to sing, come join the choir. Mark David holds rehearsals here at the church on Thursday evenings at 7. No experience necessary. And looking ahead, on Saturday, April 29th, please plan to join the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence in the Arlington Street Zoom Room for an evening of nuns and fun. Bingo and raffles with terrific prizes and fabulous entertainment will benefit Arlington Street and our work in the world. Please save the date. Get yourself registered at ascboston.org and spread the word. Information and Zoom room links for virtual gatherings are at ascboston.org. To attend any of them, you don't have to be a member, you don't have to turn on your video or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join the virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. If you're here in the sanctuary, you'll need to go to the Zoom room before the postlude begins. Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth will be at the end of the center aisle. If you're here in person after virtual coffee hour, please come say hello and linger to visit. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all those who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together.
I'm frantically trying to tune my guitar because I broke a string in the last one, if you didn't notice. So I also needed to make an announcement about Easter next week. So we do a huge musical offering on Easter. This year it is just gloriously beautiful piece called Into the Light by Jake Runestad. And it's for choir and orchestra. We'll have strings, horns, oboe, percussion, piano. It uses texts by Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Tagore, Helen Keller, a whole host of other just icons. And it speaks to struggle and hope and sort of moving beyond everything in just the most beautiful spirit. So I hope you'll join us next week for that. As always, it'll be live streamed and live in the sanctuary. And for now, I invite us to rise in body, rise in spirit for a final hymn, which is Wake Now My Senses, number 298. And I'm going to take another few seconds and see if I can get this guitar operational. All right. 1, 2. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in awe. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion. Give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. With justice thy guide, join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted their privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of mystery clear. Rise in my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work towards a planet transformed by our care.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, friends. Before our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square. Those of you in the sanctuary, hands up, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people on your left and on your right. Send out loving kindness to the person on either side of you, to the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. This is from Indian author Kalidasa's The Exhortation to the Dawn. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of our existence. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow but a vision. Let us look well, therefore, to this day. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.